There's a lot you can do to prevent future leaks in utility rooms or laundry rooms, especially on your second floor. In this home, we're installing fiberglass in all of our utility rooms on the second floor, as well as our shower pans throughout the house. The reason we're doing this in the utility rooms in this house is mainly to prevent any excess damage in the event of a leak. So in this room, the fiberglass isn't installed yet, but it's prepped for tomorrow to get sprayed in, or rolled in rather. And our HVAC system is sitting here in this room, in this exact space. And we have a drain in the floor over here for any overflow that goes into the wastewater system for this house. Ideally, you don't want leaks from hot water heaters or HVAC systems, but they do happen. So planning for them to happen and what you do with that water in the event it does happen could prevent you from a much larger headache. So essentially the fiberglass gets applied to the floor. It gets rolled up on these pieces of wood to kind of like create a, I guess, like a pool effect. So what'll happen is if the water does leak in this room, it will pool towards the drain. All of our drains for the system will already be dumping in there. So if there's any sort of like extra condensation that gets collected, it will go into the drain. And if there's ever a reason for an overflow, it can be dealt with before it leaks down into the room below. So we're standing in the laundry room of this house, and in laundry rooms you have obviously a washer and dryer, and sometimes your washer breaks and leaks, or there's some sort of failure in the system, which everybody sees in the movies, or maybe it's happened to you where the water just goes out all over, sudsy water all over the floor, which is absolutely a nightmare. Seen it happen, it's happened to me. So what we're doing in this home is we've located 2 drains, one for the washer to drain into naturally, as well as if in an event for any leaks or anything like that in the future. We have a center floor drain directly in front of where the washer will go. So if there's any sort of leaks, the water will collect and head towards the drain, and the rest of this room will get rolled in fiberglass up against this blocking here to kind of collect any sort of water in this room and prevent it from leaking down into the room below, preventing excess damage in the event of a washer failure, which, you know, nobody wants to have that happen, but our job as a builder is to plan for the unforeseen situations that could arise maybe 5-10 years down the road. And this is one of the things that we're doing in this home to promote the longevity of the product that we're building. We could have taken it a step further by actually pitching the floor to the drain. It is slightly pitched, but not really in excess. We felt that rolling in the fiberglass in this room and then locating the drain in front of the washer would suffice in the event of a leak. But normally when you fiberglass something like a shower pan, you pre-pitch the shower pan towards the drain before you roll in the fiberglass or apply the fiberglass, so that all of the water is just naturally going to gravitate towards either like your center drain or your linear drain in that shower pan. We could have done that in the laundry room, but what would have ended up happening is from the pitching of the plywood, we would have had this little bit of a lip here that would have interfered with our transition from the hallway into the room. So with the tile floor here and the wood floor out here, we're just going to use like a slightly elevated threshold in order to kind of like create that dam that we need to keep whatever leaking water would be in this room will be dammed by the threshold, maybe only 3/16 taller than the floor inside here. And in the event of like a massive leak, obviously that wouldn't prevent water from going out in the hallway, but all the water in the event of the leak would be collecting and going down this drain way before it would ever surpass the transition of the threshold. So this is one of the bathrooms that's already completed. Basically, we have the curb, which is this edge portion of the shower, and the interior part of the shower here. You can't really tell, but all the corners of this area are higher than the center drain. So any water that collects inside here will automatically pitch towards the drain. Ultimately, when we get into the tile scope, you'll have to wet bed and then apply your tile. So you'll be able to provide additional pitch, but God forbid there's any sort of like failure in your tile or your wet bed, the fiberglass will collect any sort of water into the drain, preventing any sort of leaks downstairs. And we don't like to use, the term foolproof ever. There are failures sometimes in this product, but this is probably one of the most foolproof ways that we've found to protect any sort of leaks, or this is a great preventative measure from any sort of damage being created in the event of a leak. We have found that this is pretty much like creating a swimming pool or jacuzzi inside of your shower. It's kind of a simulation pool. We take the fiberglass all the way up the bench, up the blocking, so you're never really going to get, if you have water flooding over top of here because of a clog, inevitably you're going to have a situation outside the shower. But as long as your drain stays clear, all of the water, no matter what, unless there is a penetration through the fiberglass or somebody accidentally sends a screw through here for some unforeseen reason, this fiberglass will protect the room below us long past we're on this planet. But come in here and you can kind of see like what the actual fiberglass looks like. It's just basically this membrane of just strands of, you don't want to really get the stuff on your skin too much, but it's just basically glass in fiber form. These are just little strands of glass. These little fibers all interlock together with the adhesive material, just creates like an impenetrable bond. And unless you drill a hole directly through it, like water's just going to always collect on top of this and flow into your drain. You do want to do a test, so you plug your drain and you flood the pan out and just make sure everything's good after it's had time to cure. You do want to test it out a little bit, but we've always had great success with this.